So, we study the history of the CIA on culture. We've talked about this before on the show, basically about how Haight-Ashbury was just a giant laboratory for the CIA through crystal meth and through acid. And now we have this situation where Silicon Valley is all microdosing and doing Adderall. Do you think that's like there's a correlation there? Because it seems pretty specific to me. And what are your thoughts on that?
So, look, I'm very aware of that. I mean, I've been watching your podcast and podcasts like it, and Rogan really goes deeply into the whole psychedelics and the convoluted history with the CIA and MKUltra and all these other secret projects that have been run. So
MKUltra was a government program run by the Central Intelligence Agency. Originally started as something called Bluebird in 1948-49, morphed into Artichoke, and then in 1952 became MKUltra. It was a mind control program, a brainwashing program. The CIA was trying to learn how to control people's behavior without their knowledge. Their main objective was to create what they called hypno-programmed assassins, people who would kill on command, popularly known as Manchurian candidates, after a book that was written in 1962 and later became a movie and then a movie again. The people would be, through drugs and hypnotism, the objective was to get people to go and commit an act of murder against their moral code and have no memory of their programming.
I find it kind of very, very disconcerting. Now, certainly with acid and LSD at really high levels, like they can take your brain to places that it might never come back and can kind of program your brain. Psilocybin, from like the Psy Ops standpoint, it's not as effective a tool for them. And what might end up happening is it might end up backfiring. They might try to do this in a way, historically, to make somebody more programmable, more inclined to war, acts of espionage, assassination, different kind of events like that. And what they end up getting is like a more loving and present person that comes back who's less inclined to do those kinds of actions. But it's a real troubling, as somebody in the space, like it's real troubling about how much these products have been used for nefarious ends.
Yeah. And, again, the difference between, let's say, acid and shrooms, I know you kind of talked about that, but I don't know why, but I just feel like they have two different effects.
Yeah, I would say that for sure. And in terms of like, look, I honestly don't know many people who work in Silicon Valley and are using, microdosing to kind of supercharge themselves. I know some like type A stockbrokers who've been on Adderall for years and on, 3 days on Brain Supreme or a similar product, they stop using Adderall and they become nicer human beings. And James Fadiman, Dr. James Fadiman, who's got extensive work, all kinds of podcasts and interviews on YouTube and Spotify, you can really learn a lot. The general consensus seems to be that with psilocybin on the macro and micro level, that despite whatever the original intention was, who was providing the psilocybin, why they're providing it, the ultimate outcome is that it tends to make you a healthier and happier and more productive human being. So, if some whole, Satanist in Silicon Valley is taking it to kind of deepen their connection with the demonic and be more effective, I don't know. I mean, hopefully I would say that the wonders of these mushrooms is that it would work to the opposite effect and ultimately make them a better human being.
What would happen?